Hi, hello, greetings and salutations, my friends. This is editing me, just hopping in real quick to give a quick intro to this video because I'm currently editing it and it is currently 9:44 p.m. on Monday, the 9th of September 2024, and I'm realising now that I didn't have an intro. All the clips are in and I've done various editing to all of the clips, but I'm realising that I don't have an intro, so I just want to hop in and give a quick intro. This is basically just a reading vlog. I had I think it was over 2 hours worth of footage from I think it was Wednesday and Thursday that I'm not including in this vlog. I think I'll probably include a couple of clips, but I had over 2 hours worth of footage from kind of both of those days, and it was, I think after the Wednesday I realised that none of it really pertained to books, so I'm not going to include it in this vlog. Instead it is going to be a separate vlog on my second channel, which I'll have linked in the description below as always. But yes, I just want to give a quick intro to this goofy little vlog. It's a bit all over the place, and because I ended up not having all of that footage from Wednesday and Thursday, it is a lot shorter. And I think I mentioned at some point during the end that I was worried about making it too long. But anyway, just want to hop in and give a quick little intro, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you.
Hey, it's me.
Don't mind this, I was mucking about. But I think it's quite nice. Anyway, she's don't be mean to me. Yeah, anyway, it was either yesterday or the day before I read the first short story in The World of Jeeves. I think it has the first 34 shorts, Jeeves and Wester short stories. I don't know why it has. Because P.G. Wodehouse assembled this omnibus himself. It was him that assembled it, and there's even an introduction in it. I read the introduction the same day I read Jeeves Takes Charge, which is the first short story. I read them in the same day, and the introduction is really nice. Normally, I don't read the introductions, but I decided to read the introduction of this one, and it was very nice. It was so sweet. It was clearly so personal as well. There was just something about it that just felt so natural. It felt like you were reading something that your friend had sent you, rather than just this, oh, here is the omnibus that I assembled of these characters that I've written a lot for. It felt so personal and it was so full of personality to it, which was really nice. Because I normally don't read the introductions of fictional books. Normally the introductions are quite boring and just detail a lot of stuff that really isn't massively relevant to the story. I appreciate the work that is put into the introductions, but with at least Penguin Classics, it's a whole lot of stuff I don't really want to read. I pick up that book for the story, not an in-depth thing of the author's life. I appreciate them though, but the introduction of this book, I was kind of going to move past it, and there was just a couple of phrases that kind of caught my eye, that I was like, you know what? And the introduction was only 4 pages long, and the text isn't that small. It's a nice, comfortable size. And that's another thing with a lot of kind of older books, is that the text is sometimes really small, especially when they have an introduction, but this one, the text is really nice. It's quite a nice size. But yes, I read the introduction and the first short story, which is called Jeeves Takes Charge. I really love this. I thought there was so much stuff that I annotated and highlighted, and there was so much. There's so many like cracking one-liners and fantastic descriptions, and you kind of really develop, not necessarily an affinity, but a love and appreciation for a lot of the characters in just like 39 pages. Wait, is it 39 pages? Not quite, no, because it doesn't start until like page 15, but basically you get, in like that amount of time, in such a short amount of time, you get such a deep, maybe, I feel like you get an understanding for a lot of the characters, and there is no long-winded explanations of who the characters are. You get these kind of really quite quick and short descriptions, and you can kind of imagine the characters kind of how you imagine them based on the descriptions. Personally, I do, when I think of Jeeves and Wooster, I do think of the TV show, which is not a bad thing, but when I also think of the books, obviously, but in reference to the characters Jeeves and Wooster, I do think of Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, which is not a bad thing, I do have to say, because I feel like they both fit those characters respectively quite nicely. They do fit the characters and the descriptions of the characters. In my head, Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie fit the role of Jeeves and Wooster quite perfectly. In my head, Stephen Fry just fits so perfectly with the character of Jeeves, and Hugh Laurie fits so perfectly with the character of Wooster. And it probably helps a little bit that the TV show, those are the characters that they play. So it probably has like a little bit of a helping hand. But I feel like they fit the characters so perfectly that I don't mind that that's who I think of, especially because the descriptions within the book kind of fit so perfectly with Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie. Like, in my head, they just fit the characters so wonderfully. So that's kind of how I picture the characters in my head. But that's just me. I love the progression of Jeeves and Bertie's relationship and friendship throughout. It's not necessarily instantaneous. It's like a nice progression of Bertie's. It's also, I feel like it's important to note that it's narrated by Bertie Wooster. So you kind of get a lot of his thoughts and feelings and observations of the world, and any description is through his eyes. I really like the way that I love the writing style. And I love the progression of Jeeves and Bertie's friendship and relationship, because it's not an instantaneous they meet and then suddenly they're just best friends. Because it's narrated by Bertie, you can kind of see a lot of his thought process. And you can see Bertie is essentially Jeeves just helps Bertie out with pretty much anything and everything. Yes, it's more of a progression of Bertie. You can tell that Bertie kind of just wants to prove himself to Jeeves a little bit, but he also wants to make sure that Jeeves knows and understands that Bertie is in charge, despite the fact that you can kind of gauge pretty quickly that Jeeves knows his place and is more than ready to kind of stay in that place. He doesn't really want to go anywhere else. He doesn't want to offend anybody, and he's just there to help. He's like happy to help. Or at least that's the impression you get very quickly, is that Jeeves just wants to help. He is there to help, he knows his place, and he's more than ready to fill it. And the progression is kind of, over the course of the book, And it is called Jeeves Takes Charge because whilst it is the first one, you can kind of tell he knows his place, but he also is very, very intelligent. Jeeves is massively intelligent, and whilst yes, he knows his place and he doesn't really want to overstep it, he also knows when to he knows when to overstep that boundary and when to overstep that line and risk losing his job. He knows exactly the right time to. Jeeves knows just when to risk his job, to take charge even though he has been hired to do a service for someone else. He knows, or at least he did in this story, just when to not necessarily overstep, but risk his job and kind of take charge for a minute. And he has an explanation, like he's more than ready to explain himself. He's like, look, this is my reasoning as to why I did it. I hope you understand. And then when he gets fired, he's like, I understand, but just so you know, like, considering I am no longer in your employment, sir, please forgive me whilst I kind of let you know my thoughts on this thing. And then I really appreciate the kind of progression of they first meet and then they go on this little thing and then Jeeves helps Bertie out and risks his job in doing so, and then Bertie gets maybe a little bit understandably upset at him, but at the same time not so understandably. It's a very weird thing of like, you can kind of understand, but at the same time it's like it was for your own good. He kind of gets mad at Jeeves and then he's like, you're hired, and he's like, okay, bye. And then it's the next day Bertie comes down and he's like, actually Jeeves, I'm really sorry, you were right, like, you're now hired again. And Jeeves says, thank you. And by the end of it, Bertie comes to really appreciate Jeeves and really value his opinion, and it stops from being, you're in my employment, do what I say all of the time and don't question it, to kind of being like, Bertie realises how intelligent and how smart Jeeves is and kind of values his opinion. And by the end of it you can kind of see that Bertie then starts to develop this reliance upon Jeeves after realising that Jeeves was only doing what was in Bertie's best interest at the time. Bertie kind of realised that Jeeves had assessed the situation and had done what was best for Bertie at the time, because you can tell that even after them not necessarily knowing each other for a particularly long time, Jeeves develops this like real affinity? Yeah, I'd probably say affinity. Jeeves really develops this kind of affinity for Bertie and only wants to do what's best for his employer. He doesn't want to see his employer upset or sad or anything. And you can tell that he, in such a short space of time, has already decided that he really likes Bertie and he just wants what is best for his employer. But at the same time, I think Jeeves is like that for all of his employers. But I don't know, I get the impression that Jeeves feels like he has kind of maybe won the lottery in terms of who his employer is. And you can tell that he really cares for Bertie, and it's really sweet to see. And there's just this kind of way about Jeeves that Bertie kind of comes to really appreciate. There's just something about Jeeves, upon their first meeting, there is something about Jeeves that just really strikes Bertie. And as Bertie has like a roller coaster of emotions towards the end, because he just wants to please... he just wants to please Florence. He just wants to make her happy, despite the fact that she is a horrible, horrible person. She is truly abhorrent. She's awful. There's really no redeeming qualities for her. She is quite cruel to Bertie a lot of the time. A lot of the time that I think any page space that she takes up, she is being cruel to Bertie. She is being relentlessly cruel to him for no reason. and Bertie is kind of just wants to please her, just wants to kind of prove his love for her by doing this thing. He doesn't realise he has these rose-tinted glasses on for Florence, and he doesn't want to upset her, he just wants to please her. When Jeeves takes charge, amount of times I mentioned the title, when Jeeves takes charge and kind of amends the situation and gets Bertie out of a situation that could have been really, really sticky, and could have hurt Bertie more in the long run, could have hurt Bertie considerably more if the events had been allowed to unfold. Instead, Jeeves takes charge and doesn't allow those events to unfold, whilst Bertie loses his engagement to Florence. Ultimately, in the long run, Bertie is less hurt, and Bertie has more chances of kind of happiness and success in the future, thanks to Jeeves kind of going behind his back to fix this situation. Jeeves very much takes charge of the situation and fixes it, and he gets Bertie out of a very, very sticky situation, out of a very horrible situation, and ultimately Bertie loses his engagement to Florence, and he's very upset about it. And he knows who went behind him to fix the situation. He knows exactly who fixed the situation, and he's understandably maybe a little bit upset about it. But then, by the end of the story, he realises that Jeeves was very much in the right. Jeeves very much was right and did what was best for him in that situation, and he appreciates Jeeves for that. It's just it happens very much last time of the day, like last minute before they all go to bed, and he's like, "You're fired," and Jeeves is like, "I understand." And then kind of they go to sleep. Bertie kind of sleeps on it, and then he wakes up and he realises that Jeeves was right. So he goes, apologises, and rehires Jeeves again. And Jeeves is very kind of calm, very demure, very mindful, and Jeeves gets rehired. And Jeeves is like, "Thank you, sir." "Thank you, sir." There's like literally a line like right here, where Bertie he goes in, he's like, "Jeeves," I said when he came in with my morning tea, "I've been thinking it over. You're engaged again." "Thank you, sir." I sucked down a cheerful mouthful. A great respect for this bloke's judgment began to soak through me. "Oh, Jeeves," I said, "about that check suit." "Yes, sir." "Is it really a frost?" "A trifle too bizarre, sir, in my opinion. But lots of fellows have asked me who my tailor is. Doubtless in order to avoid him, sir. He's supposed to be one of the best men in London. I'm saying nothing against his moral character, sir." I hesitated a bit. I had a feeling that I was passing into this chappie's clutches, and that if I gave in now, I should become just like poor old Aubrey Fothergill, unable to call my soul my own. On the other hand, this was obviously a cove of rare intelligence, and it would be a comfort in a lot of ways to have him doing the thinking for me. I made up my mind. "All right, Jeeves," I said. "You know, give the bally thing away to somebody." He looked down at me like a father gazing tenderly at the wayward child. "Thank you, sir. I gave it to the under gardener last night." "A little more tea, sir?" And I thought that was like such a nice way to end the short story, was Bertie realising that he had really won the lottery by getting Jeeves as his valet, and that Jeeves had this kind of like rare coven of intelligence, as he says, that Jeeves has an excellent judge of character, has an excellent judge of situations and how to prevent something really catastrophic happening. Jeeves is able to kind of assess a situation and very much problem manage. He's very good at making sure that Jeeves doesn't get into any pickles, and he's a very good valet. He's a very good butler to Jeeves, to Bertie rather, and Bertie realises that, and he's kind of, you can tell, even whilst he doesn't actively say it, with his thoughts and stuff with it prior to this, you kind of realise that he feels a bit remorseful about it. He's like, "You know what? Hands up, I was wrong, but Jeeves is right." And I really appreciate that. You can kind of see this, like, I don't know why I said roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, no, Jeeves is very calm the whole time, and Bertie kind of goes on this little roller coaster of like, oh my god. What was on the other? Oh, and my god, is Florence annoying. I just said, and god, Florence is annoying. Like literally on the post-it note it says, and my god, Florence is annoying. I hate Florence. She was horrible. I've already kind of gone on a mini rant about her, but just to save the whole going again on like risking a very long rant, I hate Florence. She was horrible. There was no redeeming qualities. Again, pretty much everything I've said about her before. She's horrible, and I'm a tad surprised Bertie didn't realise anything sooner. Oh, my bad, that was the first 2 sentences. I'm so happy that Jeeves got Bertie out of that engagement to Florence, because she truly is horrible. She truly just is awful. Awful. And I am actually a bit surprised that Bertie never kind of really realised sooner. Like, he never realised sooner. I'm a little bit surprised, actually. Yes, I am actually really glad he ended up no longer engaged to her and realised it was actually for the better. I am considerably happier. I'm really happy that he realised that marrying for someone's personality is a lot more important to him than just marrying because they have a nice profile. And I think it's kind of at the end of the story, he realises that he has this affinity kind of for Jeeves, and he appreciates Jeeves, and he appreciates Jeeves' opinion and stuff. And I thought it was really nice. I did want to sit and read this in one sitting, but the introduction makes a comment about that, and it was actually quite funny about reading it in one time and in one sitting, and he's like, don't, it's not a good idea. It can be done. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah, but let me find it, hang on. Found it. Basically, in the introduction, P.G. Woodhouse writes, "The great trouble with a book like this is that the purchaser is tempted to read too much of it at any one time. He sees this hideous mass confronting him, and he wants to get at it and have done with it. This is a mistake. I would not recommend anyone to attempt to finish this volume at one sitting. It can be done. I did it myself when correcting the proofs, but it leaves 1 week and is really not worth doing just for the sake of saying you have done it. Take it easy, spread it out, assimilate it little by little. Here, for instance, is a specimen day's menu as advocated by a well-known West End physician. Breakfast: toast, marmalade, coffee, soft-boiled egg. Luncheon: hors d'oeuvres, cauliflower au gratin and lamb cutlet. Dinner: clear soup, halibut, chicken and casserole, savoury. Before retiring, Liverpool. Should insomnia supervene, add 10 minutes of one of the other stories. I find it curious now that I've written so much about him to recall how softly and undramatically Jeeves first entered my little world." So I thought that was so funny that he obviously kind of edited it all in one sitting, and then he's like, whilst you might want to, please don't. And I know what I'm like when I'd want to like sit and read all in one sitting, but I'm going to take the recommended advice by the author and not read the entire thing in one sitting. How long is it actually? I never checked. It must be like... Yeah, okay, so it is 774 pages long. Whilst I could do that, I don't want to. And also I do have a cute little pupper. He has been featured in many of my previous videos, if you would like to go and see that. I will also have his Instagram linked below, as always. It's always like the top thing in my description. But yes, I do have a little pupper that I kind of prioritise over everything else, including myself, because you can't actually see him, I realise, but I will add some B-roll of him in this video. He will no doubt make a massive appearance in this vlog, because he is a cute little pupper. But yes, I have been like really into the world of kind of Jeeves and Wooster. Note to the title was accidental, but then I lent into it once I realised. I've really loved the world of Jeeves and Wooster for a really long time, and I haven't really read many, if any, of the short stories, so I was really happy to have kind of seen this in Waterstones at the beginning of the year. This obviously is not the one I bought from Waterstones. I wonder if I can get a cheaper copy secondhand, because it was £10.99, and I was like, I can't afford that right now because I'm a university student and I have other things to pay for. 100% would have bought a brand new copy of this, but at the same time it was like, I found one that was like £3 on Amazon, so I was like, I'm gonna get that one. Also, I do really like the kind of character that it has before I got it, because it tells the story of the person that owned it before me, and that's one of the reasons I love buying secondhand books, is that the book already comes with a story of someone who owned it. But yes, I love that, and I love being able to add my own story of reading it to the book. I did add these little kind of decorational pieces, because I've seen some people do it on Instagram, I think, and I was like, that actually looks really cool, and then I've always been too scared of doing it, and I don't want to risk like ruining my books. But I tried it with Jeeves and Wooster with this book for the first time, and I actually really like it. I really liked the way it turned out, especially with the first page. And I did it here. I want to add some washi tape to this bit as well. I think I did it with Ninth House as well. Hang on. Yes, I did it with this one as well. This is not a book I've actually read yet, but it's so weird holding such a thin book after that. I'm like, this feels so small, so light. But no, I did it a little bit with this book, here, and I really like it. Hello, buddy. Oh, my little, so sleepy. He's so sleepy. Can you see him? Oh, you can't. Oh wait, you can. Look, he's so cute. Hello, buddy. Hello. But yes, that is all for now, so I can go back to cuddling my little dude. I will update you later. Hang on, look. He's just the sweetest thing. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to reading and cuddling with him. I'm gonna go back to reading and cuddling with the bestest boy. Hello friends, this is Arlo. He's come to join us today. I'm sat in front of the window, so he kind of took the opportunity to sit on my lap and look out the window. I finished Wonder yesterday. I started it yesterday, finished it yesterday. It was just as cute as I remember it. I had a great time rereading it. It was really nice seeing all the characters again and being able to kind of fall in love with them again. And whilst yes, I knew what was going to happen because I read it like 11 years ago. I read it when I was like 8, and then I was rereading it. It was really nice to see those characters again and have that chance and opportunity to do you mind? Am I really that boring? Am I boring you that much? No, it was really nice to be able to fall in love with them again, because it has been that long since I read it for the first time. So to be able to fall in love with them again for the first time was really nice. And obviously I knew what was going to happen, but there was these like smaller things that I had kind of forgotten a little bit. I'd either forgotten them or they weren't as clear in my memory. So it was really nice to be able to not necessarily rediscover those things, but kind of have them told to me again. And it was really nice. I unfortunately did not get any more of the World of Thieves read, because Arlo ended up wanting to play and I needed to feed the animals, and basically a lot happened, and then by the time I was able to sit down and read again, I was just massively overwhelmed again, unfortunately. Hello. And at the present moment I am massively overstimulated and overwhelmed and on the verge of going nonverbal. So I'm not as articulate as I perhaps normally would be. But I haven't really filmed anything else today because it's just been a chill day and I've been a wee bit overstimulated and just trying to let myself rest. I'm not very good at that. I don't think it's worked out very well. A guy was coming to fix our washing machine today and he was coming between 2 and 4. So I was kind of in subtle waiting mode all day, and then it hit like 2 p.m. and I was like suddenly really alert. Well, I'd kind of been alert all day. I'd been kind of in waiting mode all day, and then it got to 2 and he didn't come until nearly 4 p.m. So we sat there like pacing, really anxious for like an hour and a half before he came, and then he came and then it turned out there was nothing wrong with our washing machine. That's a whole thing, but he literally came on. Okay, basically the issue with our washing machine was it wasn't draining. Basically we've had that washing machine for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months. It's been used less than 10 times. Yes, we are clean people, it just so happened that we were washing our clothes somewhere else. We had a kind of different setup that we were still using because we wouldn't have it for much longer, so we were kind of just getting as much as we could out of it before we switched over to our new washing machine, and we had preemptively bought the new washing machine because our old one had broken, which just wasn't working anymore. So we've had this washing machine for like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and it has been used like less than 2 times. No, it's been used less than 10 times. And on the last 3 times, it wasn't draining. And my parent, like, it wasn't draining, it wasn't, like, the pump at the back wasn't making any noise, there was no indication that it was draining, and the last 3 times, my parents had to manually drain it. This guy comes in, and he's like, oh, I'm here. He, like, knocks on the door, and he's like, oh, I'm here for a washing machine. I'm like, oh, cool. Awesome, like, it's right in here. And thankfully I like kept him upstairs and kind of shut him in my bedroom just to kind of keep him out of the way. Plus the guy had been like, hey, if you have any dogs, can you just keep them out of the way, please? Which is a perfectly understandable thing because you don't want a dog kind of just getting in the way of you trying to do your job. Yeah, but about that, he's fine. He had a tick and I got it out, and then it's just a really aggravated bit. He's fine. But yeah, so I left him upstairs, and I know what he's like, he wants to be friends with everyone. So this guy comes in, and he turns the washing machine on, and it instantly drains. The washing machine instantly starts draining. Like, he turns it on and makes it, like, run water a little bit, and it just instantly drains. And then he, like, shuffles it to where we normally have it in the utility room by the boiler. And he, like, attaches it to all the necessary things, plugs it in, turns it on, and kind of gets it to run a cycle. And it drains. With no issues. It just drains. And then he runs it another, like, 3 or 4 times. He runs a bunch of tests on it. And each time, it's draining. It's draining completely fine. Look at him, he's so handsome. And he knows he's handsome. Such a cootie patootie. Every time he runs it, it drains. And I'm stood there like my parent, like my mum's at work, my dad just went to America on a work trip yesterday, my brothers are all at school. I'm the only one here. It's me, my dog, and our cat are the only ones here. And I'm stood there like, I swear it was broken. Like, I'm stood there like, my mum said the pump wasn't working. And I'm like, she just said that the pump wasn't working. It wasn't making any noise, it just wasn't draining. It was mildly embarrassing. Bobbers. Hello, doodle bug. Okay, so what time is it? It's like 2 p.m. I think. Okay, so it's 2:26 in the afternoon. It's like actually a really nice day outside today. So my dog, this is Arlo. Arlo and I have kind of just been outside reading. I have made sure he's gone into the shade and had plenty of icy water and all of that stuff, don't worry. I've made sure he's cooled down and stuff. But I just wanted to give a quick reading update on The World of Jeeves because I got to pay 142 for the number 8 Jeeves and the Unbidden Guest. Before I was kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna take a quick break, get him inside, make sure he drank plenty of water, like make him take a bit of a break and stuff. But yeah, so I'm at page 142. I was gonna get further before I gave an update, just because, you know, of risk of giving too many updates on this book. Yeah, I'm on page 142, and I didn't have anything to kind of put as a bookmark immediately hang because we were outside, so kind of just folded down the page, and it looked like the previous owner had already folded down there anyway, so I kind of just refolded along the crease the previous owner had put on this page, and I figured I kind of took that as like a good sign to kind of stop, because I was just going to keep going, I was just going to keep reading, but I took that as a sign to take a little bit of a break. But yes, no, I'm really oh, I just dropped the book. I'm really enjoying this book so far, because you kind of just get to know a little bit more about the characters as you go on. And obviously I have my favourites and I have the characters that I hate, but Jeeves, I have to say Jeeves is my favourite character, but that's probably not a surprise. Also, this book is called The World of Jeeves, so... But it focuses more on Bertie, to be honest. Like, Bertie is the narrative voice in it, instead of Jeeves, which I found was quite interesting. But yes, so I'm on this one, Jeeves and the Unbidden Guest. So I've read all of these ones, but I haven't read this many. If you can hear, like, clacking, my dog is licking his leg. I hate the noise too, but he's actually not doing anything wrong, so I don't want to tell him off. But yes, I haven't read this one yet, but I also want to take this book quite slowly. I took a quick break because I had read quite a lot of it in quite a short space of time, and I was kind of worried about running out of these stories too fast. And I was going to try and read them relatively in as few sittings, but so I read the first one in one sitting. I was like, you know what, I'm going to update after every single one. And then I decided not to because it would have just taken too long. So, yeah, I was going to wait until I was significantly further in the book before I paused and took a break from it. I decided to just take a quick break. There's loads of books on my TBR for this month that I could read. But I was like, you know what, at the moment, the only one I really want to read is this book, and I am having so much fun with The World of Jeeves. Kind of didn't really want to stop, but I went inside, make sure my dog cooled down for a bit. I got a drink. His bowl is outside in the shade somewhere, full of cold water and ice cubes. But so I went inside and I grabbed the Night Circus, and just I went ahead and grab the Night Circus so I can kind of get a start on this. I brought The World of Jeeves back outside with me as well. He just bounced. Anyway, so I brought The World of Jeeves back outside with me as well, just in case I did want to kind of step away from this one for a moment and go back to this one. Just in case like this one wasn't hitting the spot, I could always go back to this one. So I'm also making sure that my dog stays relatively well ventilated and stuff. I was going to do it the front facing camera, but then I looked at the front facing camera and I was like, nah. But I really like the way my hair looks right now, but it was more just other reasons. But Yes, so I'm gonna get started on this one. Look, if you can find that. He's so goofy. But yes, I'm gonna get started on this one. I might read a couple more of the short stories from the World of Jeeves, but I might read some more of the World of Jeeves this afternoon, but I really want to get a good chunk of the way into the night circus today. But the weather is still really nice, so... Oh, and I'm wearing a really nice dress today. I don't wear dresses much, but I really like this one, so just wanted to kind of point that out. Yes, I will check in later. My dog and I came back in the house, and I changed out of my dress because I love this dress. I really do. I love it so much. I love whenever the weather is nice enough for me to wear it. But I got sunburnt really bad, like on my back, and I was starting to get really overstimulated. It wasn't the dress's fault. It was just a I also I don't want to like show my t-shirt too much because so I changed into something comfy, and my dog came back inside with me, obviously, and look at him, so perfect. But yeah, no, I think he's grateful to still be in the sun, but thankful that it's a little bit cooler. I mean, it is a little bit cooler outside now, and there's a couple of like rain clouds, but or look like rain clouds. So, I mean, it is also, what time is it now? It's also 5 to 6 in the evening. I say the evening, it's like 5 to 6 in the evening / afternoon. I didn't get very far into the night circus, unfortunately, because I got to page like 24 before I put it down. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, I was enjoying it. It was more like it got really warm, and then Arlo and I ended up playing for a bit, and we kept coming in and out of the house to make sure he cooled down, and he changed his water and stuff. But all in all, like, it was a nice day. So we didn't do much, to be honest, but I'm still quite drained. I don't know if you can tell by how hard it is for me to speak and like articulate at the moment. I didn't get much further into Jeeves and Worcester either. I'm probably gonna get a little bit more reading done and stuff. If you can see him, it's probably the light bouncing off my phone and hitting the thing. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna get a little bit more read. And Call Me Chris posted a video like literally 2 minutes ago, so I'm probably gonna watch that as well. But yeah, look at him. I'm obsessed with him, in case you can't tell. It's probably like glaringly obvious to literally everyone, but I'm gonna go ahead and look at his little smile. I love his little smile. It makes me happy every time I see it. Yeah, it's the sun bouncing off of my phone onto like the wall and the rest of my bed that he's jumping at. So I'm just gonna get back to kind of relaxing, because despite the fact that I didn't actually do much today, but kind of sit in the sun and read and hang out with this little bub, and kind of just hang out with him. I'm very drained. I'm so drained. But yeah, no, I'm just gonna watch some stuff and read and stuff. I will check in later. Hello. I am very sorry to disappoint that I did not finish this book yesterday. I got to page 36 yesterday. I'm really enjoying it, and it's like when I did sit down to read it, I did get a hefty amount read because I'm really enjoying it. Unfortunately didn't finish it yesterday, but I am thoroughly enjoying it. I am on page, I think 38 now. Read a couple of pages and then something came up and I just had to put it down. I really enjoy it so far. It does annoy me that they keep referring to one of the characters, the man in the grey suit. That is annoying me, referring to him constantly as the man in the grey suit. The mystery of him ended long ago, okay? It is no longer mysterious, it's no longer a fun, quirky descriptor, it's just annoying now. I'm not having a good time with it. But other than that, I really enjoy the book. Other than the fact that they keep referring to one of the characters as the man in the grey suit or the instructor, I'm really enjoying it. Just other than that one minor detail, it is really annoying. But anyway, I will end the video here. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you had a nice time. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in my next video. Bye!